And now here's your host, Annie Durbon.
Welcome to Sooner Sports Fun. I'm Annie Durbon, alongside my gorgeous co-hosts, Courtney Boggs and Blakely Durham, and our excited live studio audience. Guys, who's in there? But first, we always like to start off our show with something called Launchpad, where we show the biggest highlights of the week. And I think we can all agree that the Sooners going to the Final Four is pretty big. As the men continue their season-long dominance and look to pick up a national championship on the other side of the gym after a disappointing performance in last year's Nationals, the women are hard at work and ready to chalk up another national title. Hi Sooner fans, I'm in front of the NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, which happens to be the hometown of freshman Christian James and sophomore Kadeem Latin, and they could not feel more blessed to play in front of their friends and family. Welcome back to Sooner Sports Pad. The Oklahoma gymnastics team is top-notch, with both the men and women's gymnastics team holding the top spot. This weekend, the men will be competing for their second straight national title, but as Stephen Kabler shows us, the women will be seeking redemption after a disappointing loss last year. Well, it was a disappointing loss for the Sooners tonight after scoring on their first drive. And senior linebacker Eric Stryker says his turning point was missed tackles. And Kadeem had hoped to give his 4 tickets to his mom, dad, stepdad, and grandmother, but unfortunately his grandmother passed away earlier this week, but says that she will be watching over him. Annie Durbon, OU Nightly.
Security policy for the New York Times. Tom Shanker is with Nightly's Annie Durbon in the newsroom.
Thanks, guys, and thanks so much for joining us, Tom.
Annie, it's a great honor to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you, yeah. Well, let's first start by talking about the day al-Qaeda members hit the Twin Towers and the Pentagon, and you were actually there on your way there. Tell us about that day and how it's influenced your reporting since.
Yeah.
We're going to be tossing to Annie Durbon in Oklahoma City. Annie?
Yeah, guys, I'm at the GOP Oklahoma Republican headquarters here, and I gotta say the vibe here is just too good. I'm here in front of a poster that John Wayne, Donald Trump, and Ronald Reagan. People here are just awesome. We have people filled in all kinds of rooms. I was talking earlier to a man, over here. His name is Corey Perry, and I know you said earlier that you're a Rubio fan, so how do you feel right now with the race being so tight with Donald Trump and Rubio right now?
Well, I think it's indicative of what we've seen.
It was to be a demonstration of support, one school to another.
A multiracial group of OU students gathering to show unity with students at the University of Missouri. The group came together dressed in black for this photo. It was a show of solidarity against the racial unrest experienced on both campuses. Even OU's diversity vice president Jabbar Shumate joined in the effort. It was a happy moment shared by dozens of students, but this attempt to celebrate Missouri's triumph over racism opened old wounds at OU. There are still many concerns about Zika's threat to pregnant women and its role in causing birth defects. Part of the solution may have to do with geography. So far, Zika-infected mosquitoes have not been detected in the U.S. mainland, so pregnant women are advised to avoid traveling to Zika-infected parts of Latin America and the Caribbean. Thanks, Kaylee. And with storms in the forecast, people across Oklahoma are following the warnings of experts, making sure their severe weather plans are in order. The OU campus is no exception, and the school is working to make sure students and the entire campus are prepared. The administration is reaching out on social media to remind students to get ready for severe weather and how to stay safe. They are also tweeting updates on the latest alerts and warnings.
What does it mean to have both your programs be #1 in the country?
It's pretty cool. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't tell. I don't know any other program that could do that. So I mean.
This isn't the success of Oklahoma football. These championships belong to the men and women's gymnastics teams. The dominance of these teams isn't going anywhere. For the past 3 years, both the men and women have been atop the national rankings.
We're just like a brotherhood, so it feels good to know that they got my back, and we went through all that hard work together. So I'm accountable for them, they're accountable for me. It feels great. It feels like a championship team.
Men's gymnastics coach Mark Williams and his team captured last year's national title and look to go back-to-back, bringing the school's total to 10 championships.
To be honest, I'm just honored. There's a bunch of Olympians, a bunch of big names that come to the school and won, so I just feel honored.
As the men continue their season-long dominance and look to pick up a national championship on the other side of the gym after a disappointing performance in last year's Nationals, the women are hard at work and ready to chalk up another national title.
I think this year is a little bit different just because last year we came up a little bit short. We had a great year last year and we ended up getting third at nationals. So a lot of people are returning from the team last year, and so they had so much more motivation just going into this year, and we really want to come out on top.
But going into this year, it's a completely new team. It's a completely new atmosphere in the gym, and we're just so excited for this nationals.
Last year's team was the odds-on favorite to take home first place, capping off their undefeated season, but fate would have other plans. The team didn't perform their best and ended up in third place.
Last year, of course, the first few events didn't start out how we had planned. So we were really proud of ourselves for climbing back and getting all that we could, making it all the way back to third place.
But this year started different. The Sooners lost their first meet to LSU. The Sooners used that loss as motivation for doing everything they can to win every other meet.
We did get a kick in our pants a little bit early on in the season, so getting that out there and just focusing on doing our best, focusing on the training that we've put in this entire season, this entire preseason, has really been our focus.
Everyone's super excited and we want to go out on top, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to make that happen.
Both the men and women's teams look to finish their season strong as the #1 team in the country, hoisting that national championship trophy once again.
It'll be amazing, you know, like not a lot of schools could do back-to-back, and just knowing that I'm part of that it's awesome.
Oh, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be even more sweet. So we are just so excited to go out there and just knock it out of the park.
Annie Durbon, Sooner Sports Pad.
That is all the time we have for this week. Thank you so much for joining us for that Sooner Sports Pad. On behalf of the entire Sports Pad crew, thank you for joining us, and we will see you back here next time.
Coming up, we'll take you live to the Capitol where Governor Fallin delivers a message of hope. Teachers decide to try a legislative revolution, and the sign of traffic on streets make Norman businesses rejoice. This is OU Nightly. Thanks, Stephen. And with increasing budget concerns, Oklahoma schools are struggling financially. More than 100 districts are considering shorter weeks or fewer days to save money. This would mean that more than 1,000 school employees could find themselves out of a job. Since January, Oklahoma schools have suffered more than $50 million in budget cuts, and deeper cuts are expected. You may not have to worry about getting a citation for texting and driving in Norman, at least for the rest of this year. The Norman Police Department says it has issued no citations for texting and driving since the law was in effect November 1st. During the rest of the year, MPD will train its officers to spot violators and enforce the new law. Thanks, Clark. The 13th ranked Oklahoma Sooners men's tennis team is ready to take on the number 4 Ohio State Buckeyes today after knocking off the number 17 Memphis earlier this week. The visitors will be coming for revenge after suffering a 4-3 loss against the Sooners last year in Columbus, which snapped their NCAA all-sport record 200th match home winning streak. But Oklahoma is ready. Senior Axel Alvarez made history on Monday by completing his 200th and 201st career wins, joining Dayton Webb as the only player in Sooner history to top the 200-mark win. The Sooners fell by a jaw-dropping 44 points, and the Wildcats took the victory 95-51. Reporting in Houston, Texas at the Final Four, Annie Durbon, OU Nightly.